Jefferson and McCaffrey get market-tilting deals. Henry's confounding ADP, cracking the backfield code in Tennessee, and Swift loves his landing spot. Got some interesting developments in the NFL this week, and the fantasy implications are large, so stand by for this week's top 5 fantasy headlines. Headline number 1, Jefferson resets the wide receiver market. The Vikings and wide receiver Justin Jefferson got a deal done on Monday, and it was a whopper. A 4-year, $140 million contract that makes Jefferson the highest paid receiver in the league and ensures he's a centerpiece of the franchise through the 2028 season. Now the Vikings will ask their star wideout to turn his attention toward helping to prepare a new quarterback, first-round pick J.J. McCarthy, for life in the NFL. On Tuesday, Jefferson said that he loves the new energy and confidence McCarthy's brought to the locker room, and he relishes the chance to guide the rookie into his first pro season. Of course, the Vikings had a veteran quarterback in Kirk Cousins during Jefferson's first 4 seasons, and we should take a moment to recount how fantastic those seasons were. Jefferson pulled in 392 catches, racked up 5,899 receiving yards, scored 30 touchdowns, and he was named NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 2022. His average of 98.3 receiving yards per game is the most in NFL history for any career span, and his average of 6.5 catches per game is the second highest of any receiver in his first 4 seasons. But what about Jefferson playing with a lesser, or at least unproven quarterback, whether it's McCarthy or veteran Sam Darnold, who could be a bridge until the rookie is game ready? You might know where I'm going with this because I say it often. Heck, you can say it with me. Less than ideal quarterback situations don't necessarily limit good receivers, and Jefferson is a great receiver. The former first-round pick would also be the first to remind you he was plenty productive with Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins, and Jaron Hall in Cousins' absence late last season. In fact, Jefferson ranked 3rd among all receivers in fantasy points per game upon return from a hamstring injury in Week 14 last year, with Dobbs, Hall, and Mullins all getting the snaps at quarterback. Don't overthink it. Jefferson's current ADP has him going off the board with the 5th pick overall on Underdog Fantasy. Don't let what might turn out to be a challenging circumstance keep you from landing arguably the best player at his position at a slight discount. If anybody's up for a challenge, it's Jefferson. Headline number 2, McCaffrey resets the running back market. Christian McCaffrey already laid claim to the top running back contract, the one he signed with the Panthers in 2020. With 2 years left on the deal, CMC was set to earn $11.8 million this year and $12 million in 2025. Now he's set to earn $62.2 million over the next 4 years, an average of $15.5 million per season with $24 million in fully guaranteed money. While running backs have been devalued in recent years, McCaffrey being an exception to the rule is no surprise. In his first full season with the 49ers, after joining them at the trade deadline in 2022, McCaffrey led the NFL in rushing yards with 1,459 and yards from scrimmage with 2,023. His 21 touchdowns tied him for the league high at the position. Those numbers were good enough to earn him NFL Offensive Player of the Year honors, and he compiled them despite sitting out Week 18 after the Niners clinched the home field advantage and a bye in the playoffs. But more than all that, from a fantasy perspective, McCaffrey continued to deliver at player-and-a-half levels. Nobody posted a better per-game scoring average from weeks 1 through 17 than McCaffrey's 24.7. Kyren Williams at 21.4 per game came closest. After that, the numbers dipped precipitously. So much so that the point at which McCaffrey gives you player-and-a-half production at the position is running back 5. Football guy Ben Cummins put it nicely in his best ball first-round rankings analysis. See link in the comments below. The 49ers and Kyle Shanahan know they have a Hall of Fame player at their disposal, and McCaffrey's usage proves it. Indeed. He averaged 22.1 opportunities per game last year. Similar usage in 2022 allowed him to average 22.2 points per game in 10 games after the aforementioned trade, including 5 outings with at least 25 points. When drafting early, I'm looking for leverage over the field. Player-and-a-half production, that's the leverage I'm talking about. McCaffrey's 3-down skill set and this running back-friendly offense give him a rock-solid claim to running back 1 status and the number 1 overall spot for 2024. If this is the kind of content you're after, you'll love the Football Guys Daily Update. The biggest stories in football summarized, explained, and delivered straight to your inbox every single day. Sign up and check it out. It's totally free. You can unsubscribe at any time. You'll find a link in the description below this video. And while you're there, do the YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment. I appreciate it. Headline number 3, the Ravens are hoping Henry is very busy. Since 2018, no NFL running back has had more carries than Derrick Henry. And the Ravens offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, well, he wouldn't mind if that trend continues in the veteran's first season in Baltimore. The newcomer is viewed as a closer by Monken, who said that if Henry's carries it 300 times in 2024, then the team would, quote, be having a hell of a year. Well, here's to the Ravens having a hell of a year, because I'm all in on Henry. It's not just the situation Henry finds himself in, although I do love the situation. case you haven't been following along, Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins are gone. Keaton Mitchell is recovering from a torn ACL. And Henry joins an offense that's boasted the NFL's best rushing attack in 3 of the past 5 seasons. That includes a 2023 campaign when the Ravens topped the NFL in carries with 541. Beyond that, Henry will work alongside Lamar Jackson, the most dangerous running quarterback in the league, and behind an offensive line that is 8th as a run-blocking unit on Football Guy's Matt Bitonti's offensive line rankings. There's a link in the comments below. I know some of you are worried about age and mileage. Henry turned 30 in January, but he showed no signs of drop-off last year, even though he was running behind one of the league's worst offensive lines and one of the league's least prolific scoring offenses. Looking for evidence he's still on point? Well, the 6'3", 247-pounder's breakaway run percentage last season ranked 6th best among running backs with at least 50 attempts. So, improved circumstances, check. Worries about age and mileage? Not so much for me. But here's the best part. With Henry sitting at running back 9 on Underdog, the price is right. As Football Guy Sigmun Bloom noted in his ADP values for 10 players that don't make sense, link below, Henry's ADP 31 overall is cheaper than last year, even though he's getting a wholesale upgrade in situation. If you like starting drafts with a pair of high-end receivers, well, Henry might be an ideal running back 1 in the 3rd round. Headline number 4, predicting workloads for Pollard and Spears is going to be a challenge. While Henry led the league in carries in 4 of his last 5 seasons in Tennessee, his replacements are likely to split that workload this year. The Titans, who returned Tyjae Spears, added former Cowboy Tony Pollard in free agency. Now the team has to figure out how to use them. And fantasy managers, well, we'll need to sort that out to some degree, likely before the Titans fully show their hand. Offensive coordinator Nick Holtz said after Pollard's arrival, he views it as a 1A, 1B situation. Randy Jordan, who took over as running backs coach this offseason, added to that this week. According to Jordan, the Titans don't have to worry about counting touches, at least in terms of carries, because both are capable receivers out of the backfield. Well, we are worried about the touches, but the truth is a split might be best for Pollard, who has been more efficient when sharing. As Football Guy Zari Kansabedian recently noted, in 2022, 45% of Pollard's 186 rush attempts turned into runs of 15 or more yards. Since 2020, only one other back, Breece Hall, has hit that mark. That same season, Pollard's breakaway run rate accounted for 19% of his fantasy points. He scored 26 more points in 2022 than his 2023 campaign, despite getting 75 fewer touches, which meant, well, more big plays. That potential upside might explain Pollard's a running back 28 ADP in early best ball, while Spears is available as running back 37. While it's not ideal in redraft leagues, targeting ambiguous backfields at the right price is a path to best ball success. So I'll have plenty of best ball shares of both, with Pollard and Spears available at or near running back 3 level investments. Headline number 5, Swift believes he's in the right place, but is the price right? The Bears moved quickly to add DeAndre Swift at free agency, signing the running back to a 3-year, $24 million contract. Swift is eager to play alongside rookie quarterback Caleb Williams. It's a great situation to walk into, the running back told the Chicago Sun-Times this week. Swift had a career-high 1,049 rushing yards last year, his lone season in Philadelphia. Still, Football Guy Jason Wood questions whether Swift is equipped to handle a feature role on an offense that doesn't have an elite offensive line. Woods wrote, "We can't look at what he did in Philly last year and think it extends straight across." That's a fair assessment. While Swift's numbers on the ground ballooned last year, his receiving stats declined as Philly's passing attack focused on receivers A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Swift is a capable enough receiver, but there will be competition for targets in Chicago, where wide receivers Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze join Swift and Williams as newcomers. DJ Moore and Cole Kmet are also on board as the top returning receiving options. Swift is running back 21 on the Football Guys 2024 draft rankings. His current RB22 ADP on Underdog aligns with that. As one of just 6 running backs with at least 1,000 rushing yards and 35 receptions last year, Swift isn't without upside in round 7, but much will depend on how involved Khalil Herbert and Roschon Johnson are once the season starts. Even assuming Swift handles the primary role here, the list of backs and timeshares available after he's off the board include Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Zach Moss, Tony Pollard, and Raheem Morris, who is mighty appealing going a full round later than Swift. That's it for me, Bob Harris. You'll find me here most every Friday with more news and the resulting risers, fallers, and other fantasy fallout that matters most to you. Also, watch for my fantasy notebook every Monday morning at footballguys.com.